This is just a brief comment. I was reviewing a previous recording of the Prokofiev first movement of the Sixth Sonata, looking for learning errors, and I discovered something that reminded me of a thing that I use in teaching that I wanted to share with you now. I call it perfect conversation or perfect speech. And what it is an attempt to deliver words fluently, possibly with, as you could hear, hesitations, but with the aim of avoiding things like, when I'm using it not to mean something that I appreciate, but rather as a conversation stuffer or a staller while I try to figure out what I'm saying. Or words like you know, etc., including etc., if I were stalling, or repeated stammered-like words or sounds. So the point of it is to try to formulate what you're saying and then say it in a fashion that's fluid. The reason I experience this sort of thing and sharing it with students, and they find it difficult and amusing both, is that it requires you to have formulated in advance what you're going to say, or at the very least to note that what you're going to say is going to come out with a sense of ease. And the parallel with piano or music practice is that you are looking for ways of expressing yourself fluently. So if a passage would have a lot of stutters, mistakes, and things of that sort, then what you risk doing is, of course, reinforcing the negatives, reinforcing the mistakes. Whereas if you know that you feel that certain degree of, shall we say, panic or uncertainty, that time or tempo is coming at you a little too quickly to either think clearly enough to do something appropriate next, or to trust that what you're going to do is automatic and therefore something that will work well. If you don't have those conditions, then you're likely to panic. You may not experience it as panic, but what comes out is the equivalent. In other words, what comes out is something that you don't take full responsibility for. So this has, to a certain extent, been difficult for me, in other words, speaking this way. And you can hear when I'm speaking in a halting fashion, when I'm trying to decide what I'm going to say, when I hesitate a little bit. But typically, after I've decided, the words will come out in a rush. They'll come out fluently. And that's exactly what I'm looking for in my practice. And what I'm hoping to do when I talk about my practice, just so I stay in that zone, is to think a little bit more and talk a little bit less, or said another way, perhaps talk as much, but talk more carefully, so that what I say doesn't include a lot of those stutter steps and ums. If I avoid those, I'm hoping that will also translate into the way I'm practicing. I'm hoping, in other words, that the way I'm speaking to you and to me, and the way I'm practicing, will start to mimic one another. We will see if that in fact is the case, but it was just a thought I had while viewing myself in one of the previous recordings. So I will see you in the next recording. We will continue with Prokofiev's Sixth Sonata. See you soon.